Hello. I haven't made one of these in a hot minute. I figured might as well come here and tell you guys what I have been up to as we are now pretty much halfway through the year. June is next month, literally in a week. It's next week. June is next week. It's crazy. But I haven't spoken to you guys in a while, so I want to say hi. How's it going? I hope you guys are doing good. I hope it's been going well for you. I do still have the goal of having this thing completed. I've been working on it again. I took a while of me not working on it before getting that, I would say, additional partial motivation, but then the other part, like a better understanding of where I wanted to go with the story. So I started working on, I have, the way I had broken this thing down is that I have the intro, like the first scene, but like the introduction, aka first scene. Then we have, I just finished the proceeding scene. So scene 2, I just finished. I'm working on scene 3 right now. And then I'm working on the climax afterwards. I think I'm going to have it broken into acts. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know if there's going to be an act 2, if it's just going to be a one act play. This feels really like a one act play, but I might break it up into another act and have that act as something outside of what I initially planned. It's still relatively similar, but it's going to be a little bit different. But yeah, that's what I've been working on so far. I haven't really been doing much with the story. I still have the idea of how I expect it to go when it comes to how it's going to be presented. It's not going to be in a typical theater hall. That's the goal is to have it as more experiential, and I wanted it to align with something like Outside the March. That's a theater company that we have in Toronto. They are very experiential driven. So they have like a musical, not musical, they have a play coming out, Medea. Is it Medea or Medusa? I think it's Medusa. Medusa, where I think they have headphones that you put on where you hear the thoughts of the character as they're going through the entire story. I really think those things are kind of cool. So hopefully I'll be able to see one of their plays this year. I did want to go see the Medusa one because I thought that one was really interesting. They have a couple others, but that one was the one that caught my attention the most. We shall see. But that's all I've been really working on so far. I think I might just do this as one video, to be honest, because I want to give you guys at least an update on things and get my feet back into the YouTube space. I haven't been here in so long. So it feels kind of awkward for me to make a long YouTube video, especially because I've been more active on Instagram and TikTok and like the more short form areas, specifically with the secondary channel I have, not my main, but the secondary channel I have for mainly for anyone can benefit from it, but it's mainly for like music lovers. If you guys are lovers of music, or if you're musicians that want to get better with your warm-ups and stuff, I have that channel to provide more tips and suggestions on how to take care of our entire voice, not just our voice box, but take care of the full body and making sure that we're actually warming up properly and all that stuff. I have that there. I will link down below if you guys want to see it and check it out. If that's your style, if that's your fancy. But if not, and if you just are here for the solely play driven stuff, then don't worry, we're gonna get back into that stuff. I took a while to get back into it, but we're going to get back into this. But yes, I've completed the first scene finally. I know I definitely need to like expand it. I feel like it's quite short compared to what I initially had thought out. And I think it's mainly because a lot of this is based off of how the audience is going to be reacting to everything. I know especially for this next scene I'm going to be working on, it's going to be heavily not reliant, but it is a lot of the expectation is that there's going to be a reaction from the audience. I hope there would be a reaction from the audience. That's the goal for this scene, that there's going to be a reaction. It's finding a way to write it long enough for me to get that reaction and then it not feel like they're rushing through the showing for whatever for this play. It doesn't feel like they're rushing through, but in reality, like you're taking your time and everything has its beats and everything has its points where it's supposed to happen, but it feels like it's natural and it doesn't feel like it's being rushed. Yeah, I guess I have to, keep that in mind as I'm writing. But yeah, other than that, that's what I'm working on. I'm working on that scene right now. Hopefully, I'm able to get that shock factor that I'm looking for. And then the last scene is a shock factor too. Depends on how much the audience is able to pick up throughout the story. But that third scene is really going to be a shock factor as well. Certain details are going to be given out that the audience would not be privy to unless they paid attention. And yeah, I don't want to, that's the other thing too. I don't want to make it so easy for them to get it that the shock factor's not there, but I don't want it to make it difficult and then they're not able to tell where the story went and how we got to where we got to. Yeah, that's pretty much like the overall gist of this story. I still have the end goal by the end of this year, like December 31st, literally the end of this year. By the end of this year, I think I initially had a goal of like having it like published and stuff. I'm going to retract all of that, but I'm going to say that this needs to be finished. At least a draft, this needs to be done, like a complete draft. I don't work quickly, as you guys can see. I don't work consistently, and that's something I'm working on. I'm trying to work on that, but with this story, I don't have the goal of having it published to that degree, but what I do want to do, and I think I can still maintain that, is I do want to have my first draft completed, but what I want to do is I want to put it, I read this or watched this from Ruby Granger, I think is her name. I cannot remember, but I think it's Ruby Granger. I think that's her name. She's another YouTuber and she's very well known, I think, in the literature space. And had done she had done this with her own story where she published her story with Penguin, the Penguin publisher. I can't remember that one either. I can't remember names right now, but she was able to get her book published per se with them. There is a like website that you're able to like have that story published. I can do Canva as well, but I don't want to do Canva. I want to actually like have it published. I think that way it's kind of cool because at least you have like the penguin like logo with it, and it makes it look cool. So I was thinking I could do something like that, or I could just do it the Canva way, like I initially thought of, where I would have it printed through there. But we shall see. First things first, let's try to get these scenes done. I have a goal, I think, of per display. I think I had 4 scenes technically in total, but with the plan that I started having later on with the fourth scene, I'm thinking the fourth scene might just be turned into an entire act, an entirely new act. And in that scene, it's going to be like an extensive monologue. And then that extensive monologue is probably going to have like tableaus and stuff happening throughout the monologue. And then I also have to keep in mind the space that I'm using as well, because it's not just going to be like a regular theater, it's going to be a different space. So I have to keep that in mind as well. I can't just, write it and hope for the best. But we'll see from there. We'll see how this goes. But that's a little update for me. Life hasn't really changed much. I graduated this year, as you guys know. Not this year, sorry. I graduated last year, as you guys know. So right now, we're pretty much in limbo. If you guys know how the education system going in Toronto specifically, it is a mess right now. So there's no, I think for the most part, like no hiring for education workers. Really and truly, like a lot of education workers are being let go, especially towards the end of the year. By September, they're like expecting to let go of a lot of people. So they're basically doing a major like overhaul of the education system right now, which is crazy because it had to happen during my time. But it's okay. But I think it's gonna be an interesting one. We don't know how everything's gonna go. We're kind of just like praying that everything works out the way it ought to, works out for the best, and it's not like, yeah, we're just hoping that everything works out the way it ought to. Because right now it seems like everyone's in limbo for the education system specifically. And everyone's just kind of like trying to figure out where to go from here. A lot of jobs, the job market's not really doing as well as everyone would hope for, and all that stuff. But either way, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for hearing me ramble. I'm considering making like something. I'm considering doing other things to like keep my attention and like formulate it in one spot. I do have a Substack. That is a new thing that I did do. I think I do pretty okay with writing. So if you guys want to check that out, I'm gonna link it down below. My Ko-Fi or Ko-Fi is still there as well. If you guys want to read any of those things were, I think my Ko-Fi was definitely more of a spot where I just rambled about anything. And Substack, I think I'm mainly focusing on right now vocal stewardship. So those of you that like, enjoy music and enjoy like the concept of like you and using your entire body as a mechanism for you to produce sound, I'm doing a more reflective aspect of that knowledge on Substack. If you guys want to go there, I'll also include the link below. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, my loves.